little Archie loves it, and Lilibet. And they're going to say to me, what'd you do to Daddy's family? And I said, I killed them. I killed them all. And I brought you all back to Santa Barbara. She's a sick bitch.
A third Netflix star has launched a scathing attack on Meghan Markle. But this one is by far the most famous and by far the most, I guess, how do I even put it? The most brutal takedown, even though Tim Dillon is offering to work with Meghan Markle. Now, of course, Tim Dillon, you probably know him as the star of Netflix comedy series and the host of a very successful podcast. It's a comedy podcast, but let's just say he goes there. And when it comes to With Love Meghan, goodness me, he has gone there. And there is much truth in his version of comedy. Our royal mastermind, Angela Levin, is with me now to analyse this most extraordinary piece of Netflix bashing. First up, here's Tim Dillon. Well, and what's so interesting about this, he does say that he thinks Meghan is criminally insane, but he insists that he likes her. Watch.
This woman, who I have now a fondness for, is criminally insane. And what's amazing about this show and what makes it actually fun and interesting is the depths of her insanity reveal themselves throughout the program. Every person that she has on the show is someone that she hates. She doesn't have friends. Meghan Markle doesn't have friends, and this is kind of why I respect her. Friends are not part of her overall goal. She has connections. She has people whose necks she can step on to get to the next level. She does not have friends. She does not care about other human beings. She only wants power. And the only way that she feels that she can get it is by leveraging her relationships with certain people. That's not friendships. And you see in the show that there are no friends. She wouldn't know what a friend was. Everyone is fearful of her. Everyone is cagey around her. She doesn't know what's going to happen. And what's interesting about her is the thing that launched her, which was this like crazy era of like identity politics run rampant. She actually brilliantly destroys in her show. Because if you came up with the picture of an annoying, insufferable white woman, it would be Meghan Markle.
Oh, Angela, this guy's brilliant. There's much more to come on this, but it's important we analyse, I think, as we go on. Firstly, isn't he spot on? Meghan Markle doesn't have friends. She has never had friends because that's why she is so comfortable with ghosting folk at a moment's notice, including, by the way, people who were like her BFFs and even her blood relatives. So he's right on that.
Yes, I mean, it's a brilliant way of talking because you say the most dreadful things that perhaps could get you taken off to prison. But at the same time, you say, oh, but I love her. She's terrific. She's wonderful. So it's a big mess and you can't actually work out what was going on. And if he was arrested, which sometimes these people suggest that they will get one or two of their Meghan friends and do something nasty. It's very hard because you don't know which way to go. Meghan does the same thing, of course. She says one thing is lovely and then actually does another thing that's very hurtful. And I think you have to be very quick-minded to do that. And he's got it absolutely on. So he's bashing her as much as he can. In the meanwhile, says it's terrific how she does that. And I think, he's in safety land.
And Angela, remember Jessica Mulrooney? This was her...
Yeah, she was dropped.
Yeah, but this wasn't just any friend. This was her best friend. This was her BFF. This was the woman who was by her side at the wedding, right? Whose children were part of the wedding party, part of the bridal party, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter because Tim Dillon is completely right. Meghan Markle doesn't have friends. She just has people who she uses on her climb up the corporate ladder.
We know that.
Now,
we know that from, sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But what was...
from her second husband, who she'd adored, and
Trevor
she was
Eggleston.
so pleased that he helped her,
Her
get
first
lots
husband,
of work. Yeah, first husband. And sent back her engagement and wedding ring in an envelope. That's it. That's what she said, I'm not coming back. That was it. Now, you might go off your partner, but you can actually say something, be there, show a bit of respect. But he'd shown her the places to go and the people to see, and that's all that mattered. She was fine now. She didn't have to bother. She could move on. I think Harry's near the edge of that too. She's now fed up with him, and she just wants him there, like he was in number 8 in that dreadful,
With Love, Meghan, indeed.
She was there. He was there for 3 minutes, and all he had to say was how wonderful she was.
Contractual commitment fulfilled. Very interesting. You mentioned Trevor Eggleston, though. He has actually come out best from this, actually, because he now has a really healthy relationship.
Got 2 babies now,
exactly.
I think,
in a happy relationship. But then Tim Dillon, you saw at the end of that clip, he moves on to the whole issue of identity politics, and that was how Meghan initially found fame in the US, by able to jump onto that woke movement and use Oprah Winfrey to try and make these claims about the royal family being racist. But here Tim Dillon makes the point that she unwittingly proved none of it was about race. Angela, watch.
Meghan Markle, in her own show, proves that it is not about race. It is about the demon that lives inside of all of us and letting that demon out. But can we see that speech she gives that you just played there? Can we see that? If you haven't watched this show, it's impossible to describe not only how entertaining it is, but again, for all the wrong reasons. She's a very, very sick person.
Angela, your thoughts?
Well, I think he's spot on. That's right. I think he's absolutely got it, and he understands it totally. I think we all have a bit of a devil inside us, but we learn to control it, and we don't want it to overtake us. But I think Meghan can't get over that, and she uses that to help her climb up the ladder of success.
Now then, Tim Dillon quite brilliantly goes on to talking about the damage that Meghan Markle did to the monarchy. And what he does, Angela, and I love this, he juxtaposes that damage with the sort of frivolity of With Love, Meghan. Watch.
I don't know where my autistic husband is. He doesn't know where he is. He's not allowed to see his family. I destroyed a monarchy so we could have a little dish, and you just take the cherry tomatoes, put them in a pan with a little garlic, and it's a family that's been around for centuries, and I destroyed it. And you want to wilt the vegetables, which is actually different than stewing them. Stewing them, they lose all of their character, but when you kind of wilt them, they're halfway between fresh and stewed. And I killed his mother, and I actually killed his father. They're both dead now. His father's not dead, but his mother is dead. His grandmother is dead because she couldn't bear to see what was happening. I also staged a chase in New York City like the one his mother had, and I've actually worn sweatshirts that his mother wore. I'm a deeply sick person, and it's just about kind of whipping up a cake, and it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just using local honey, and we fold that honey into the frosting, and the kids love it. Little Archie loves it, and Lilibet. And they're going to say to me, what'd you do to Daddy's family? And I said, I killed them. I killed them all. And I brought you all back to Santa Barbara. She's a sick bitch.
No, obviously that is his style of comedy, Angela. But it is true, isn't it, that we can't watch With Love, Meghan and sort of look at all this beauty and think that this is a wonderful woman and just forget Just forget about the appalling damage that she did, including trying to destroy the final years, months, weeks, and even days on Earth for the late Queen Elizabeth II and her husband, Prince Philip.
I think that's the most painful thing, because she was very ill. She was in terrible pain. And what she wanted was that her lovely Harry would be calmed down and he would feel happy again. But to nag her and to be spiteful to her and shout at her and say she's not doing enough for them is very, very cruel. It's actually somebody who knows they can win the battle very easily on someone who is very ill and has better manners. And I think that is absolutely disgusting. So, as we've talked, all the things that she's done against the most respected and delightful woman that the whole world thinks is terrific, and yet she wants to crush her and make her unhappy. And you can't believe that anybody is that cruel, but she is, and something. She can't actually be nice for very long. She can do it as if she's acting, but she can't really do it for very nice, emanating from herself.
But first, attention, all the proud, the bold, and the beautifully bald. It's time to elevate your grooming gang with the Manscaped Dome Shaver Plus. Designed for precision, comfort, and a flawless finish, this shaver is the ultimate tool for keeping your dome as smooth as your best pickup lines. Whether you're maintaining a sleek style or embracing the shine with confidence, the Dome Shaver Plus has you covered. So head on over to manscaped.com, join the over 11 million men worldwide, including me, who trust Manscaped. Use the code Outspoken for 20% off your entire order and free shipping. Now, what's so incredible about the Dome Shaver Plus? This is a great gift, by the way, if you happen to have a man who may be a little bit bald as your partner or your husband or your son. What's so great about it is it adapts to their head's contours for a smooth shave without the mess and hassle of traditional shaving. There are 4 stainless steel skin-safe rotary blades which reduce nicks and cuts to deliver a perfectly bald look without uneven hair patches. And with Flex Adjust technology, every blade stays perfectly close to your scalp for a precise finish. The powerful 8,000 RPM motor delivers effortless shaving performance with less strokes and irritation. There's battery life of up to 60 minutes, which is a really good length of time as well. And it's waterproof, which means you can enjoy wet or dry operation. With a magnetic blade pad and hair chamber, cleanup is a breeze too, making sure your Dome Shaver Plus stays fresh and ready to deliver a smooth shave every time you need it. Grab the Dome Shaver Plus by the handle or palm and you will glide it across your head like you're sweeping away last year's regrets. So go to manscaped.com using the code Outspoken for free shipping and a whopping 20% discount on your entire order. Manscaped.com. Get the Dome Shaver Plus today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. But now, back to the show. And the thing is, Angela, as Tim Dillon pointed out, we're not stupid. We haven't forgotten. Then what is most extraordinary, though, Angela, because remember, I just have to remind everyone, Tim Dillon is a fellow star of Netflix, right? And he then makes, his special is coming up, his Netflix special is coming up, and he then makes the most extraordinary offer directly to Meghan to appear on his new Netflix show. Watch.
They've already greenlit season 2 of this show. My special on Netflix will be out in April. I'm trying to get Meghan to do a promo with me. She will not, I imagine. We are out to her people. I imagine it's going to be a no, but we are offering her that opportunity to laugh at herself because, again, I like her. This is what people don't get about me. I am here to appreciate humanity in all its forms. When you start judging people and becoming a moralist, the show gets very boring. I like her. What she has done, okay? What the world she has manifested is so impressive and so off the wall and insane, you can only actually sit back and kind of be in awe of her. In awe of her. She is full of the type of hate that I find aspirational. Her hatred of other people.
So Angela, it's sort of like the biggest backhanded compliment in the world.
Yeah, well, it saves him, doesn't it? Because he says these things, and then he says, but she's absolutely, amazing, but she's actually very cruel. But oh, she's delightful. I'd love to work with her. And so it's he's 10 times cleverer than her, isn't he, really? To be able to get through all that and make everybody listen and laugh and know exactly both what he says and what he's meaning. It's very, very clever indeed. And even for Netflix, I mean, they obviously think that they don't want to stop him, and he can't actually make them feel that they shouldn't have anything more to do with Meghan, even though that's probably likely later on in this year. And so they just let him run, and that's very stimulating for him, isn't it? He can just get it all out of him.
Well, indeed, because we've
people know
also
what
seen
he's
Christine Baranski and Whitney Cummings, other Netflix stars, make comments about With Love Meghan. So there's certainly no sense that if you're part of the Netflix fold, she is in any way off limits. Tim Dillon then really dug into the fact, Angela, and I think this is one of the biggest flaws of the Netflix show. We discussed it in our review of With Love Meghan. She just really doesn't like hanging out with the celebrities like Mindy Kaling, who she feels are very much below her. This was Tim Dillon's take on that.
Because she doesn't want to have to prance around with Mindy Kaling. She wants to be much more famous than that. She wants to be much more famous than that. But the guests that she has gotten, she is unhappy with them. They walk in and she has hatred in her eyes. She goes, why do I have to do this? I'm better than this. And that's the attitude that gets you far in this business. If you can hate your circumstances enough to create new ones, you're going to do good. So I think that Meghan will actually figure out a way. She'll get the things she wants. Yes, we all hate her, but it doesn't matter. She doesn't care that we hate her. You know why? She hates us. That's why she wins. She hates us. She hates us. She thinks we're pigs. We're disgusting. We don't know how to use fucking silverware. She thinks we're all Sieg Heiling in our backyard. We're just a bunch of fat Nazis who don't know how to make a proper cupcake.
And she does, doesn't she? That is the whole point. She looks down on mere mortals.
Yeah, she does actually. She does. We have seen, not in that wonderful way, because it is equally funny as well as shocking, but for ourselves, that the only thing she cares about is me, me, me. And we've seen that now for several years. And it's not, she might look as if she's being kind, but that's because she'll get on the front page of the next paper or be, on television somehow. It's not actually what she really, really feels. And when she's gone to see people, she doesn't stay for very long. It's just there, so she's been there. And I think you can see that she does that with Harry too. I mean, I don't see how you can kiss your husband and hug him and be sweet and tuck your head in between his head and his elbow, and you sort of say, oh darling, and it's so lovely. And then she does exactly what he would hate her to do, and that is show the children's faces or their bodies so that they can be recognized, because she wanted to go back and be on Instagram, and that's what she wants. So never mind that Harry really, really doesn't want that, but she wants it, so she gets it. And that's the same thing, I think, with people. She gets bored with them very quickly. They don't do exactly what she says and how she says it. She tells them off even when she's invited them onto the program. That, is absolutely astonishing that she feels she can do that. That's her first husband, yes, who loved her dearly, I think. He was very, very upset. But, no use for me. Well, And her father was gone, and her whole family. I don't know how she treats her mother. I don't know how her mother treats her, but I'm sure they
Well,
have
she
quite
certainly
a
didn't
few
look happy
mouths.
in that episode of With Love, Meghan,
No,
did she? She looked
no, she
utterly
didn't.
miserable
She looked
to
as
be
"Why
there.
have I been dragged here?" type of a look, wasn't it?
Yeah, which never
Yeah,
used to be how she looked. But yeah, there she was arriving and she was very, very unhappy. Okay,
yeah.
let me show you Tim Dillon's conclusion on Meghan
Okay,
Markle, Angela, because it's quite something, as I'm sure by now you're picking up. Watch.
I got it. I got it.
She's doing an impression of a human being. But the most interesting thing about Meghan Markle is that she's not a human being. Never become a human, honey bunny bear. Don't ever become a human being. You will, she'll be so unhappy as a person. The best version of Meghan Markle is exactly the one you are seeing right now. She is completely, her lust for power, for status, for fame is so naked and so transparent. The demon inside of her is coming out of her eyes, and she's trying to be a human being, only enough, just be enough of a human being for the show. But I mean, her own father's out there going, this bitch is out of control, but it doesn't bother her.
And what a summation, Angela. I have to say, I'm a big fan of Tim Dillon now because this is a very good reader of people.
Yes, he can see right through you, so we all better be quite careful. He'll know what we think we are or how we present ourselves and what we're really like. But when she says she's really not a human being, I think that he does it in a sort of funny way, but he's also saying something that he dares to say because that's what he feels about her.
Angela, I also wanted to show you today a recent video from Prince Harry, because I was so disgusted by this, I have to be honest. It was him on stage at a conference, one of these conferences where he's paid a lot of money, and he was asked effectively, is there anything that you miss about the United Kingdom? And I think it so says something about his nasty, bitter mentality that he did not have one positive word to say about his father, about the royal family, about the friends who he left behind, or even about the British people, Angela, who were so loyal to him for so long. You're obviously Harry's biographer, interested for you to watch this, and then I'll get you to react off the back.
What do I miss the most? Being British, maybe I'm not going to say the weather, but I don't know. I think, look, there's lots of little bits and pieces that I miss. I guess the countryside is a big piece to that, and one of the reasons why we live in Santa Barbara. I'm not really a city person. I like to be out in space with a big sky above me. But no, you know what? Life takes extraordinary turns, and we are, as a family, we're so happy here. The US provides so much opportunity, and also a safe space for us, which has been great.
I mean, number one, he's not even telling the truth, Angela. But wasn't it extraordinary, his complete failure and inability now to even say a positive word about his home country, about the British people? Nothing. He cannot bring himself to do it.
Yes, I mean, that's really spiteful, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Everything
I actually
in
think
America
spiteful is the word, Angela.
absolutely wonderful, and it's got so much opportunity, and the UK's got none. But I think to wipe out his whole family, can't say a nice thing about it, is actually really someone who's deeply hurt, and that the only way he can deal with it is to be nasty, even nastier back. He doesn't look happy. He doesn't feel that he's thinking in a good way. He just wants to get his own back. And the reason he wants to get his own back is that he's furious that nobody, especially the king or William, have apologized to Meghan. And actually, I think, and I think thousands also think, that it's about time Meghan said how sorry she was and how appalling she'd behaved to the royal family. But Harry can't get that out of his out of his mouth. And I think that's pretty bad.
Very bad. Very, very bad. Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, thank you so much. We will speak next week. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.